and welcome to the Webcast for Tuesday, January 14th. I'm South Ops meteorologist Jonathan O'Brien. No surprise, visible satellite shows yet another sunny start to the day with just a few high clouds up north. As dry air and offshore flow remain in place, we'll see sunny skies across the board once again today. And sticking with the broken record theme, we continue to have Santa Ana wind conditions present this morning, with east to northeast flow across the mountains and below the canyons of Southern California. Although it really is not a whole lot to write home about at the moment, the red numbers that you see are the wind gusts, and we're currently seeing wind gusts mainly about 45 miles per hour or less. Here's a look at our water vapor satellite, and you can definitely see what is now a very well-defined area of cutoff low pressure well off the California coast and drifting westward. Meanwhile, there is a strong ridge of high pressure to the north of that low building into the Pacific Northwest, and additional troughing dropping southward through the Rockies and towards the desert southwest. So it's kind of a messy pattern, and over the next few days we'll see that ridge of high pressure strengthen, the trough over the desert southwest gradually weaken, and by the end of the week that meandering cutoff low offshore will meander its way right into Southern California and northern Baja. In the short term, there really hasn't been much change to the forecast. Through Wednesday, the main story will remain the winds. These generally moderate Santa Ana-type conditions will continue with minor fluctuations in intensity. Overall, east to northeast winds of 20 to 30 miles per hour with gusts to 50 miles per hour will remain common for about another 36 hours in the wind-prone corridors. And very dry conditions continue as well. We saw yet another round of poor to almost non-existent recoveries last night, and minimum humidity will remain mainly in the upper single digits and teens through Wednesday, with continued poor recoveries in many areas during the overnights. Thursday still looks like a transition day. Some offshore flow will continue into the morning, but will be much lighter, and it will weaken further and potentially even shift onshore by afternoon. RH will also begin to increase a little in the lower elevations near the coast as that shift to onshore begins. High temperatures will stay mainly in the 60s to near 70 degrees over Southern California through Thursday, with upper 50s and 60s in most of Central California. Here's a look at today's forecast highs. We may see a little bit of warming tomorrow as that high pressure to the north strengthens, so probably a few more low 70s on the board then. But by the end of the week, that cutoff low I was talking about will move inland over Southern California and northern Baja, bringing a welcome change to our weather. Friday and Saturday will see a shift to onshore flow, several degrees of cooling, and a large increase in humidity and marine layer presence. Here are the forecast min-RH values for Saturday, a dramatic change from most of the week. And take a look at the forecast high temperatures for Saturday, about as cool as we've seen this season so far for the highs over SoCal. Unfortunately, no rainfall is expected during that late week period, but fire weather concerns will be greatly reduced. Dry weather will likely continue into next week with some slow warming expected. And take a look at the upper air pattern here. It's that all too familiar look of ridging along or just off the west coast with troughing over the Rockies and the southwest. As a result, there are now stronger indications for one or more rounds of additional offshore winds next week, beginning as early as Sunday night or Monday. It's a little too early for much detail, and weak to moderate winds are currently favored, but there is a pretty wide range in possible outcomes for next week. But as it looks now, at least some extent of fire weather concerns may return. Shifting gears to fuels, take a look at this new live fuel moisture data from LA County. The years on the graph are mislabeled. This is actually 2024 and 2025 data. And if you look closely, you'll see that red triangle in the most recent reading hovering right around that critical 60% level. It took me a minute to find it just because that data point is so far removed from where it should be for this time of year. We're continuing to see fuel conditions in line with what we'd expect to see in September or October. ERCs in some cases are near the 90th percentile, which is also very unusual for January, and BI values will also be near daily records through Wednesday. So once again, the dryness and flammability across Southern California really cannot be overstated right now. To wrap things up, the large fire threat will range from elevated to high for the South Coast and the Southern California mountains through Wednesday, and today and tonight look to be the highest risk period overall, so we've bumped that area-wide probability number up into the high category. Rapid rates of spread and long-range spotting will be possible on any new starts in wind-prone areas. Conditions will begin to improve substantially on Thursday as the winds lessen, but it will remain very dry. Fuel moistures will also continue to fall through Thursday before they begin to recover. Fire weather risks will lower significantly by the end of this week as RH greatly increases, though that may only be a temporary improvement due to the lack of expected rainfall. Fire weather concerns may return as early as Monday if additional offshore winds occur. That's it for today's webcast. Thanks for joining us. The next one will be on Wednesday, January 15th.